Good morning, dear children. Let us continue the lesson motion in a plane. Okay, last class we have discussed about different types of vectors. Do you remember that? Okay, and today's class we are going to discuss about the addition of vectors. Okay, then how we can add two vectors. Okay, and there are different ways for adding vectors. And the first is, if the two vectors are acting in the same direction. If the two vectors are acting in the same direction, then how we can add these two vectors? Suppose here we have two vectors. This is vector A and this is actually vector B. These two vectors are acting in the same direction. Then how we can add these two vectors? Suppose when we add this vector A with the vector B, we got another vector. And that vector is called the resultant vector. That vector is called resultant vector. That is, when we add vector A with vector B, we got a new vector. And that vector is called the resultant vector. Okay. And when we add vector A with vector B, and here the resultant vector, that is represented as the vector R. So we got another vector R. Okay, that is actually represented as like this, the vector R. Okay, and here we can represent the resultant vector R as, suppose if the two vectors are acting in the same direction, the resultant vector R is given as, just add the magnitudes of A and B. Okay, first take the magnitude of A. What is the magnitude of vector A? Actually, it is mod A. I think we have already learned. Okay, modulus of A, that will give the magnitude of the vector A. That plus, then we have the vector B. Then take the magnitude of vector B. Actually, it is mod B. Okay, modulus of vector B. That will give the magnitude of vector B. So we can say when the two vectors are acting in the same direction, we can add these two vectors by adding the magnitudes of the two vectors. The resultant vector is given by the adding the magnitudes of vector A and vector B. Okay, so we can write the resultant vector R as the modulus of A plus modulus of B. Okay, this is the case when the two vectors are acting in the same direction. Listen to it. If the two vectors are acting in the same direction, the resultant vector is given by, just add the magnitudes of the two given vectors. Here we have two vectors, vector A and vector B. Then how we can add these two vectors? Just by adding the magnitudes of A and B. That will give us another vector R. Okay, that is actually the resultant vector. So the resultant vector R can be written as modulus of A plus modulus of B. Okay, and here the direction of R is in the direction of A or B. Okay, the direction of the resultant vector is in the direction of the vector A or B, because both are acting in the same direction. Okay, so the direction of the resultant vector R is in the direction of vector A or vector B. Okay, that is about the addition of two vectors when they are acting in the same direction. And the second is, suppose if the vectors are acting in opposite direction. Okay, in the first case we have discussed the addition of vectors when the vectors are acting in the same direction. And here the vectors are acting in the opposite direction. Then how we can add vectors? Okay, suppose we have two vectors. This is vector A and actually this is vector B. Here the two vectors are acting in opposite direction. Okay, then how we can add these two vectors? Okay, here by adding these two vectors, we got the new vector that is called the resultant vector, and that vector is actually represented as vector r. That vector is actually represented as vector r. Okay, that is represented as vector r. Okay, and the resultant vector is obtained by taking the difference of magnitudes of A and B. Here we have the two vectors A and B. We have to add these two vectors A and B, and these are acting in opposite directions. So the resultant vector is obtained by taking the difference in the magnitudes of A and B. The resultant vector is obtained by taking the difference of the two vectors, a difference of the magnitudes of two vectors A and B. So we can write the resultant vector as mod A difference mod B. Okay. The magnitude of vector A is modulus of A and the magnitude of vector B is modulus of B. So we take the difference between A and B. Only if vector A greater than vector B. This equation can be applied only the vector A is greater than vector B. Listen to it. And suppose vector B is greater than vector A. Then how we can represent the resultant vector? R is equal to magnitude of B minus magnitude of A. Listen to it. That is, suppose if the vectors are acting in opposite direction, we can add the two vectors in these two ways. Okay. Suppose if the vector A is greater than vector B, the resultant vector R is given by modulus of A minus modulus of B. Suppose if the vector B is greater than vector A, then the resultant vector is represented by modulus of B minus modulus of A. Modulus of B minus modulus of A. Listen to it. And the direction is actually in the direction of the bigger vector. Suppose if the vector A is bigger than vector B, then the direction of resultant vector is in the direction of A. And secondly, if vector B is greater than vector A, then the direction of resultant vector is in the direction of vector B. So we can say the direction of the resultant vector is in the direction of the bigger vector when the two vectors are acting in the opposite direction. Okay. Suppose here the two vectors are acting in the opposite direction, then how we can add these two vectors? By taking the difference of the magnitudes of two vectors. Here we have two vectors A and B. They are acting in opposite directions. Then the resultant vector R is given by modulus of A minus modulus of B when mod A greater than B. Mod A greater than mod B. Okay. And we can also represent the resultant vector. Suppose if modulus of B greater than modulus of A, or the vector B is greater than vector A, then the resultant vector is given by R is equal to modulus of B minus modulus of A. And the direction of the resultant vector is in the direction of the bigger vector. The direction of the resultant vector is in the direction of the bigger vector. That is about the addition of two vectors when they are acting in the opposite directions. The next is how we can add two vectors when they are inclined to each other. Okay, how we can add two vectors when they are inclined to some angle with each other. Okay, suppose if the two vectors are inclined to each other, we can use two laws for adding these two vectors. We can use either triangle law of vector addition or parallelogram law of vector addition. Listen to it. When the two vectors are inclined to each other, then we can add these two vectors by either using triangle law of vector addition or by using parallelogram law of vector addition. Listen to it. Triangle law of vector addition or parallelogram law of vector addition. Let's see the triangle law of vector addition. Okay, then how we can add two vectors by using triangle law of vector addition. Here we have two vectors A and B. They are inclined to some angle. Then how we can add these two vectors A and B using a triangle of vector addition, isn't it? And here we have the vector A. So we can draw the vector A first. Okay. I just replace the vector A. When we have to draw, we have to draw the same magnitude and direction. Okay. So this is actually the vector A. First we draw the vector A. Then we have to move the vector B in such that its tail should coincide with the head of vector A. Like that only we have to draw the, or we have to move the vector B. Listen to it. We have to move the vector B in such a way that its tail must coincide with the head of vector A. Like that only we have to draw the vector B. This is actually the vector B. Then we can close the third side. We can close the third side of the triangle. Actually this third side that will gives the resultant vector R, that is equal to vector A plus vector B. Okay, the third side of the triangle actually that represent the resultant of these two vectors A and B. Okay, that is vector R is equal to vector A plus vector B. Okay, then how we can state this triangle of vector addition as, if we can represent the two vectors as the sides of a triangle, both in magnitude and direction. If the two vectors are represented both in magnitude and direction by the two sides of a triangle, which is taken in the same order, then the resultant is represented both in magnitude and direction by the third side of the triangle, which is taken in the opposite order. That is the triangle of vector addition. Okay. So we can state the triangle of vector addition as, if two vectors are represented both in magnitude and direction by two sides of a triangle taken in the same order, then the resultant is represented both in magnitude and direction by the third side of the triangle taken in the opposite order. Okay, according to triangle of vector addition, if two vectors are represented both in magnitude and direction by two sides of a triangle taken in the same order, then their resultant is represented both in magnitude and direction by the third side of the triangle taken in the opposite order. So we have learned the triangle of vector addition when two vectors are inclined to some angle. Next, we can use parallelogram law of vector addition. Okay, by adding two vectors if they are inclined to some angle. The second law is actually the parallelogram law of vector addition. Let's see how we can add two vectors which are inclined to some angle by using the parallelogram law of vector addition. Here we have two vectors P and Q. They are inclined to some angle. Then by using this parallelogram law of vector addition, we can add these two vectors. Okay, for that first we draw the vector P. Vector P. Okay, actually this vector start from here. From the same point, we can draw the vector Q. We can draw the vector Q. Okay, then we can complete the parallelogram. We can complete the parallelogram. Okay, can name as O, A, B, C. Okay. Okay. Here the OA that represents the vector P and OC that represents the vector Q. then the resultant of these two vectors P and Q, that is represented by the diagonal of the parallelogram. That is represented by the diagonal of the parallelogram. So this diagonal that will gives the resultant vector R is equal to vector P plus vector Q. Okay, so the diagonal of this parallelogram that will gives the resultant of the two vectors P and Q. Okay, so according to this parallelogram law of vector addition, here we have the two vectors that are represented as the adjacent sides of a parallelogram. Okay, that is the two vectors are represented both in magnitude and direction by the adjacent sides of a parallelogram from a point. That means that these two vectors are starting from the common point. Okay, then the resultant vector is represented by the diagonal of the parallelogram. Then the resultant vector is represented both in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram, which is also from the same common point. Which is also from the same common point. That is the vector P, vector Q, and the resultant vector all are from the same common point to O. Listen it. So here the resultant vector R can be represented as vector P plus vector Q. So according to parallelogram law of vector addition, if the two vectors are represented both in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram from a common point, from a same point, then the resultant vector is represented both in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram, which is also from the common point. That is the parallelogram law of vector addition. Thus, according to parallelogram law of vector addition, if both the vectors are represented both in magnitude and direction by the adjacent sides of a parallelogram drawn from a point, then the resultant vector is represented both in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram passing through the same point. Okay, according to parallelogram law of vector addition, if two vectors are represented both in magnitude and direction by the adjacent sides of a parallelogram drawn from a point, then the resultant vector is represented both in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram passing through the same point. Next, the analytical treatment of triangle law of vector addition. Analytical treatment of triangle law of vector addition. Okay, and here using this analytical treatment, we have to calculate the magnitude of the resultant vector and also the direction of resultant vector. Okay, actually that method is called the analytical treatment. Okay, by we can calculate what the direction of the resultant vector and also the magnitude of resultant vector. Okay, and here by the triangle of vector addition, here we have the two vectors, vector A and vector B. They are represented at as the sides OP and PQ of this triangle. Here we have the two vectors A and B. These are represented as the sides of the triangle OP and PQ respectively. Then the third side OQ, that represents the resultant vector R is equal to vector A plus vector B. Okay, that is actually the triangle of vector addition. Next, we are going to calculate the magnitude of the resultant vector R. The magnitude of the resultant vector R. For that, we extend the line OP. We extend the line OP. So we got ON. Okay, so we got the line ON. Then from Q, we can draw the perpendicular, that is QN. Okay, from the point Q, we can draw the perpendicular QN to OP produced. Okay, here we extend the line OP and draw perpendicular QN to this extended line. Okay, so we can represent the angle QPN as theta. Okay, we can represent the angle QPN as theta. Then OP, that represent A. Then PQ, that represent B. And OQ, that represent R. Listen it here. Angle QPN equal to theta. then OP is A, the side OP is represented as A, then PQ that is represented as B, and OQ that is represented as R. Listen to it. Next, we consider the triangle QNP. We consider the triangle QNP. QNP, that is the right angle triangle. Okay, here we can draw like this Q. Separately, we can draw QNP. Okay, QNP. Actually, that is the right angle triangle. From that triangle, we can write sine theta. You know what is sine theta actually? What is sine theta here? Opposite side by hypotenuse. Opposite side by hypotenuse. That is actually sine theta. Here the opposite side is Qn. Then the hypotenuse is PQ. So Qn by PQ that represents what? Sine theta. Qn divided by PQ that represents sine theta. From that we can write Qn as PQ, cross multiplying this. Qn is equal to PQ sine theta. Okay, Qn is equal to PQ sine theta. Then what is PQ? You know, PQ is B. So we can write B sine theta. So we got Qn as B sine theta. Listen to it. Here we are considering the right angled triangle QNP. In this triangle, we can write sine theta. You know, sine theta equal to opposite side by hypotenuse. Here the opposite side is Qn. Hypotenuse is PQ. So sine theta can be represented as Qn by PQ. But we have to write the value of Qn. So Qn can be written as PQ sine theta. Then you know what is PQ? B. So it can be write B sine theta. Similarly, we can write cos theta. What is cos theta? Using the same triangle, cos theta is adjacent side by hypotenuse. So we can write Pn, that is the adjacent side, Pn by PQ, that is cos theta. Okay, here Pn equal to PQ cos theta. Then instead of PQ, we can write B cos theta. So we got Qn as B sin theta and Pn as B cos theta. Isn't it? Again, from the triangle ONQ, we consider the big triangle, right angle triangle ONQ. Okay, we can apply Pythagoras theorem to this triangle ONQ. Okay, you know what is Pythagoras theorem? Hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus altitude square. Okay, hypotenuse square equal to base square plus altitude square. So here the hypotenuse OQ. So OQ square equal to base square ON. So ON square plus altitude is QN. So QN square. Okay, applying Pythagoras theorem for the triangle ONQ, we can write OQ square equal to ON square plus QN square. Isn't it? And here this ON can be represented as, here ON is represented as OP plus PN. Okay, ON can be written as OP plus PN. So instead of ON, we can write OP plus PN, the whole square plus QN square. Isn't it? Then you know what is OQ actually? R. So R square is equal to, you know what is ON? What is ON? ON is actually not ON. ON can be represented as OP plus PN. So here OP. OP can be written as, what is OP actually? A. So instead of OP, we can write A plus PN. We know the value of PN. What is PN? B cos theta. So we can write B cos theta. So OP plus PN is actually A plus B cos theta the whole square. Plus, what is QN actually? What is QN? QN we already found out. QN equal to B sin theta. So B sin theta the whole square. Okay. So this can be expanded as A plus B the whole square in that form. So A square plus 2AB cos theta plus B square cos square theta. Here it is B square sin square theta. Okay. Here then A square plus 2AB cos theta. Here B square is common. So B square into sin square theta plus cos square theta. You know sin square theta plus cos square theta is actually 1. So the remaining terms are a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. That actually represents r square. From this, r can be represented as square root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Actually, this is the magnitude of the resultant vector r, that is root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. That is the resultant vector. Okay, next we can find the direction of the resultant vector r. Here the resultant vector r that makes an angle beta with the vector a. Okay, this is actually beta. We call this angle as beta. Here the resultant vector r that makes an angle beta with the vector a. Okay, then by considering the triangle ONQ, by considering the triangle ONQ, we can write tan beta. We can write what? Tan beta. You know what is tan theta? Opposite side by adjacent side. Opposite side by adjacent side. So actually tan beta is QN. QN divided by ON. Okay, tan beta is Qn divided by On. So we can write tan beta equal to Qn by On. That is equal to Qn divided by, you know what is On? I think already we found out On is OP plus Pn. So instead of On, we can write OP plus Pn. So next we can substitute for On. For Qn, Qn is what? B sin theta. Instead of Qn, we can write B sin theta. Then what is OP? Actually, OP is A plus. Then what is Pn? Pn is B cos theta. So tan beta is equal to B sin theta divided by A plus B cos theta. That is the direction of the resultant vector R. Okay, that is by using this analytical treatment, we can found the magnitude of the resultant vector as well as its direction. Isn't it? And here, I'll repeat, here when we consider the triangle, we can write angle QPN. Angle QPN equal to theta. Actually, all these things are wrote from using this diagram. Okay, here the angle QPN, that is theta, then OP is actually A, then PQ, what is B, then OQ, that is R. Then using this right angled triangle QNP, we can write sin theta. Sin theta is, you know what is sin theta? Opposite side by hypotenuse. So we can write Qn by PQ. Again, Qn is equal to PQ sin theta. Then what is PQ? Actually B. So Qn can be written as B sin theta. Again, we can write cos theta as Pn by PQ. That is adjacent side by hypotenuse. Pn by PQ. From that, Pn equal to PQ cos theta. So we can write B cos theta. Okay, then using the triangle ONQ, actually it is a right angle triangle ONQ, we can apply Pythagoras theorem to this triangle. That is hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus altitude square. So OQ square equal to ON square plus QN square. But this ON can be written as OP plus PN. Okay, so OQ is actually R. So R square is equal to, instead of ON, we can write A plus, then instead of OP, we can write A. Then what is Pn? Actually, Pn is B cos theta. So A plus B cos theta the whole square plus. Then what is Qn? Actually, Qn is actually B sin theta. So we can write B sin theta the whole square. Then A plus B cos theta the whole square, we can expand. A square plus 2ab cos theta plus B square cos square theta plus B square sin square theta. Then A square plus 2ab cos theta plus B square is common. So sin square theta plus cos square theta. Then A square plus B square plus 2ab cos theta, that is the value of r square. From this, r can be written as square root of A square plus B square plus 2ab cos theta. That is the magnitude of the resultant vector. Then next we can find its direction. For that, we are considering the triangle ONQ. In that, actually the resultant vector r makes an angle beta with the vector A. So we can write tan beta as Qn divided by On. But Qn divided by On. But On can be written as OP plus Pn. So we can write b sin theta plus a plus b cos theta. B sin theta divided by a plus b cos theta. Okay, that is the direction of the resultant vector r. Isn't it? That is about the analytical treatment of the triangle law of vector addition. So we have learned the and the analytical treatment of triangle of vector addition. By using this, we have found out the magnitude of the resultant vector and also the direction. Okay, have you got it? And actually here the next analytical treatment of parallelogram law of vector addition is also there. That thing we can study on next class. Okay, and today's class, first we have learned the addition of vectors. How we can add two vectors when the two vectors are acting in the same direction. How we can add by adding the magnitudes of the two vectors. Okay, suppose if the two vectors are acting in opposite direction, then how we can add these two vectors? By taking the difference of magnitudes of the two vectors. Listen it. And suppose if the two vectors are inclined to some angle, we can add these two vectors either by using triangle law of vector addition or by using the parallelogram law of vector addition. Isn't it? The analytical treatment of parallelogram law of vector addition, that thing we can see on next class. Okay, that is the end of today's class. Thank you, children.